Can't forget that is rocking a lot. Can't forget the fox skin.
Pepper for your steak.
Mavericks Marauders? Maybe that's what we are called. Marauders is kind of an aggressive name. That kind of has a presupposition of like going out and fucking shit up. I don't know if we should do that. Mavericks Magi. Ooh. Ooh. They think they're wizards. They think they can go into anywhere and be wizards and manifest their reality. You can. You should. Don't hurt anybody but yourself. That's another bumper sticker of mine. I'm fucking dropping gems here.
Need a book.
They found me, Liz. The government found me. They offered me a deal. If I take their offer, they clear my record and I can get my name back.
This LTX-71 concealable mic is part of the same system that NASA used. When they faked the Apollo moon landings. Yeah, the astronauts broadcast around the world from a soundstage at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, California. So work for them. Shouldn't give us too many problems.
Saying that such behavior on the part of the power of his genius supplied the deficiencies of the imperfect communications of the Hierophants, and he himself became a master and a revealer.
We thought we had something different here, you see. We live in both a very fragile and precious experiment in democracy, and we live in an empire that is experiencing profound decline.
Reptilian agenda. Okay, let's talk about the reptilians. So you're saying the reptilians are luring humans to like Hawaii to vacation spots?
The news is there to scare white people. I've said this for years.
To live this life, you can't live the life everyone else lives. You're not going to be partying on the weekends. You're going to be performing on the weekends. You're not going to be watching the big game on a Thursday night because you'll be in a club. You have to have that mindset that you don't belong. You don't go to the rhythm of the rest of the world.
Mrs. Crane, I'm looking at you. You wore green so you could hide. I don't blame you. You're a tramp. Ooh, that was a good one. Ooh, that was right where you wanted it. Ooh, Mrs. Crane, you're a little monkey woman, you know that? You're a little monkey woman. You're lean, and you're mean, and you're not too far between either, I bet, are you, huh?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Maverick Matthews, and you are listening to Pepper for Your Steak. I am in Point Venture, Texas, which is across the river from Lakeway. And I can tell you that that little tiny distance makes a very big difference. Guys, remember, I'm still learning how to do this. I haven't figured out how to do this completely yet. And I'm having a lot of fun figuring it out, though. My wife and I had one of the worst fights of our entire life the other night, but we made our way out of it. And I think that speaks a lot to how much we've practiced. But I started to cruise around this property, explore it, try to see what I wanted to show you guys. And I went to go try to have lunch. Everyone's reluctant. I was 10:30 in the bar here, and I go, "What time do you guys open?" She goes, 7 a.m. And I go, "Are you serving?" She goes, "We serve whenever we open." And she was sweet, but also you could tell it was a burden for me to ask her to make me a drink. She would rather just. Nobody does this. It's not me. It's not her. It's just, it's unusual. This is the kind of place where people get going around 2. They call in to try to get tea times for the same day at 11. That happened in the shop when I was there. Great people, though. Everybody's been super cool. I'm sure I've given a lot of people weird impressions. I do not come off as normal anymore, as you may have guessed. Now, I don't walk in to places like the Caddyshack dressed like this, but everything but the fur, you know? So as I was creeping around, it's interesting, the weather's starting to change. You can see it. I was creeping around and I tried to go down to Captain Pete's Boathouse. Rad spot. I cannot wait to eat there. We're probably going to go there for dinner. Nobody's around anywhere. There was one cook in the kitchen. I felt weird interrupting him, even though I interrupt everybody else. No hostess. I could have robbed the place blind. But rad spot. Right as I was there, the cops go by in their cop boat, really going fast, and I wave at them, and I'm like, oh, wait, they might think I'm waving them over. They start to slow down, and then I hold my camera up to make sure they can see it, and they're like, oh, it's just an idiot making a video. And so I walk back up to the parking lot, and I start to leave, and I see this sheriff's deputy sitting over in the car. And I know how delicate this kind of interaction can be. And I went over, and we became we developed a cool rapport, and we exchanged some cool information. And I'm not here to tell you what this guy told me. He definitely wanted anonymity. I asked him to film him. He's definitely not interested. It's a delicate environment for sheriff's deputies these days, but I'm friends with a couple. And I know what they think of me. They think I'm this pagan, potentially evil kid who really seems sweet and works hard. I imagine a lot of them are very conflicted over what I might be, but I've never done any of them wrong, and they've never done me wrong. It's not to say there aren't bad sheriffs, but I'm super lucky to have broken bread and experienced some cool stuff with some cool sheriffs. Shout out. Secret shout out. You know who you are. Okay. Let's move to the next location. While I'm giving you this diatribe, what I'm kind of doing is ordering the way I'm going to tell the story. It's, again, guys, I'm making this up. So, not the reality part, like how I do it, how it's made. We hit 20,000 views for the first episode, by the way, of Last American Road Trip. Devil horns? No, some kind of hook'em horns, Texas. We hit 20,000 views, and it is being promoted, but I've promoted a lot of stuff and nothing's taken off until then. So that's cool. Maybe they know what they're doing. The AI is evaluating me. And there's a cold front coming in, which I'm excited about. And I've got my little fox. And let's go see if we can find a fun spot on the lake to tell this story. Pepper for your steak. Oh. I kind of can't believe that this fucking kind of content even exists. I don't think she's of age. And this is how old creeps get away with it. This is the kind of shit that sneaks into our society. I'm gonna teach her. Maybe. I think her tits are out. I hope so. I absolutely love this set. This is, you can't, I didn't book this, folks. I paid nothing for it. The universe gave this to me. It's important to recognize when the universe gives you things so that you can be grateful for them. I'll tell you what, in terms of absurdity and decadence, this show just reached its height. What am I doing here? There's a coin. My little dog boy. My little Foxy. Hi, Foxy. God, there's people out there like that, man. There's someone doing that to a human body somewhere right now. Let us leave that behind. So I was talking to the sheriff about Austin. And much like my fox here, seems to be doing just fine. What if I started? I think I could make a hand puppet out of this. God damn, how demented you want this show to be. I don't know. Maybe it should be demented. You're kind of ripping off Dr. Colosso from the Thundermans, okay? What? He's nothing like this. I am an evil wizard. I turned myself into a fox. What if I just went on for 40 minutes? You gotta try shit, folks. Don't take me seriously. All these clips of me being a psychopath are just me, an absolute goofball. Are just they're in here to remind you not to take me seriously. I'm just pepper for your steak. I'm just an idea who happens to be on the road. I'm a traveling brain cell. Maybe I'll help you formulate some brand new synapse connections, bro. God, people, I mean, if you're going to be on the lake, you should be out here with your tits out. You should just make sure you have strong men around you who you trust. My fox baby. Hold on. Bro, some of this they could use to lock me up. Rick! Pay attention. Some of this they could use to lock me up. My little fox baby. I had a friend in high school whose mom used to refer to her dog as her little dog boy. And that's a crazy psychological condition to have to contend with as a young man. Your mom's calling the dog my little dog boy. And then I have you, my son. You see? You're the same. You know, I came here and I told myself I was kind of nervous about what kind of condition Austin was going to be in. But, you know, after digesting it, it's not, I don't care. I have a passion and a love for this city because I went to high school and college here and then broke into the film industry here. I was invited to audition for the first cast of Angels in America, which was a massive Broadway musical when I was in college. And I was so dumb, I turned it down. I said, I'm done with musicals. Meanwhile, Hugh Jackman has pranced his way into a killer career. Even if he couldn't keep it together and had a showmance with that woman and threw away a beautiful marriage. When I worked with you, you would never think you'd be the kind of person to do something like that. And so that just goes to show you how vulnerable men are sexually. And how intimate acting is. I learned all that on the stage here at St. Edward's University. When you see the episode of The Last American Road Trip about Austin, which just came out, it's episode 2. It's obviously not as popular as episode 1. But that's the stage I learned who I was on. Because that happened here, that makes you kind of hold Austin in a special place in your heart. And I come back now and I see the congestion and the poor traffic management and the MK Ultra victims wandering around a gas station while I'm trying to let my son and my wife take a piss. And I have to keep an eye on these multiple people who are dressed in the most textbook CIA mind control fashion with fucking sweatpants and a big unkept beard and a black hoodie that's up and one hand stuck in their back pocket that they never take out as if they're clutching a gun. I love this city. The food here is incredible. We just went to Chewy's in near Barton Springs, and I don't want you to think that I think that's a benchmark for quality here, but it was just that was the cool Mexican restaurant to go to when I was in college if you're going to meet your parents for dinner. I would go there with my mom, and I would also go to the old Alligator Grill, which is also not there anymore. If you know the Hollywood movie with Jennifer Aniston where she's a waitress and she has all those fucking badges and pins on her clothes and they're like, you need more flair or whatever the fuck they called it, that was filmed in that restaurant. So that's the old Alligator Grill, and I would meet my mom every Wednesday for peel and eat shrimp when I was in college and beers, and we would just talk. And she did that with her father, and I hope to one day do that with my son. Once he's where he's going to be or whatever he's trying to do, meet once a week and have cocktails and awesome food, or go fishing or whatever it is. My family's so invested in Texas. My family was at the Battle of Goliad. You can look it up. They were some of the only survivors, something like 3 survivors, and they left those people alive to tell others what had happened. It was during the war between Texas and Mexico when Texas was seeking its independence. And my family survived by choosing the right colored bean out of a jar. It was like a giant jar full of beans, and there were 3 like maybe white beans, and if you got a white bean, you got to survive or whatever it was. My grandfather is scattered at a roadside stop here. I don't know which one. If you watch episode 1 of The Last American Road Trip, you can learn a little bit about where he's at and why I have such a visceral connection to this place. I want to see Texas do well. I spent 40 minutes chatting with a sheriff yesterday, sitting in a golf cart, drinking a vodka soda, while he confirmed for me my suspicions. And that is that the media has been detrimental to law enforcement and made their job exponentially more difficult. And because of that, nobody wants to be a cop anymore. Recruitment numbers are so low that they're in fear of keeping the peace. Now, this might have something to do with Donald Trump creating the new Pentagon Domestic Protection Force, or whatever it's called. In case you don't know about that, it was just created this week, and it is like, let's say about 500 National Guardsmen in each state who are just like on the ready at all times to quell riots and civil unrest. The cops can't recruit anybody in Austin, and the reason is the prosecutors are all communist and controlled by foreign entities, probably like Israel and China. And the reason I know that is flat fact is because this sheriff told me that he would arrest somebody who had trespassed as a peep on someone's property, and he would be out the next day on no bail. And he would arrest him a second time as someone who's trespassing, peeping on a chick. a murderer, a rapist this person could be. He arrested him a second time and he was out again the next day. These are by design. You can't save anyone if there isn't something to be afraid of. And it turns out that the United States has been manufacturing its enemies for 100 years or more. We manufactured westward expansion because we told a bunch of settlers and immigrants from other... We've always used immigrants, okay? This isn't fucking new. We used immigrants like the Irish, who and originally the Catholics actually some places came over and nobody in the cities wanted to fucking be around these motherfuckers. And so they're like, let's go out to the frontier. And they're like, yeah, we'll give you free property, dude. You want 40 acres and a mule? Go out there. It's right there. Go get it. And we used them to create and kill the Indian wars. We used, my family started this fucking country. I got to take responsibility for it somehow. I would never do that, but there are people who did that. They used immigrants to go out into the Wild West where Indian tribes were all warring. It wasn't some fucking kumbaya session out there, okay? A lot of them were cannibals. Most of them were just opportunistic. Whatever goes, dude, because we are naked and it is wild. Guess what? It ain't just the Indians of North America. I'm going to stop saying Indians. It's not just a generation of people living in North Americans. The giants who were here before them were massively cannibalistic. And if you don't believe in the giants, then go listen to Abraham Lincoln mention them 4 times in campaign speeches and other speeches. To him, it was a presupposition that giants inhabited this land before us. And if you go talk to Native Americans who are savvy and who tried to keep their culture alive, the Native American version of me, people who took the time to learn their family history, to learn the secret histories, to find out what was actually going on, to be invested in their culture. Not the culture that's foisted upon them by propaganda and evil institutions and the hidden hand in the jacket. Go look at all those fucking photographs of Lincoln and look at the men around him who have their hand in their jacket like this. They're like, yeah, we're gonna use him and lose him, buddy. And that's what they did. Go find out how John Wilkes Booth was part of a secret organization that operates and controls most of the country to this day called the Golden Circle. These are the kind of things that could get me Charlie Kirk. But my point is, the reason they're not enforcing the laws in Austin, the reason the immigrants are being used here from other countries, they brought in violent immigrants to just do what they do here. They bring in all the drugs and sell it. They're the ones kidnapping and trafficking in children. It is all our deeper state that controls the planet. And it's because they worship the Luigar as the cult of the yellow sign. Now, these things all have different names. And I'm just giving you a basic framework for what's going on. But here I am in Austin today, and it's Halloween this weekend. It's Halloween this weekend, and I can't take my son downtown. Because when I was in college, 100,000 plus people go to 6th Street, and they all circulate in this giant walk and parade of costumes. And I can't take my son down there to see this incredible parade of people trying to celebrate the flood myth. Halloween is a celebration of the aftermath of a cataclysmic event, a flood that didn't come from God. It came from an asteroid hitting the ice caps 12,000 years ago. And what was left was such carnage that the people alive had to celebrate the fact that they were alive, and they had to celebrate the lives of the majority who were killed. That's what All Hallows Eve is about, ladies and gentlemen. So don't let them tell you it's a demon ceremony where they sacrifice. Yes, people do that, but that's not what it is. That's not what it was. They pervert everything and turn it into something when they can sacrifice children. They want you to think Christmas is that. No, it is not. It is a Siberian shaman tradition. And they're like, Satan Claus. Nope, wrong. St. Nicholas. Okay? That was when the Christians tried to take it over. Everything is a lie. Everything is layers. You have to look deeper. You have to find mentors like Jordan Maxwell who will teach you about what world religions truly are from first-person knowledge with no agenda. I can't take my son to a place where my brother and I, when we were in college, dressed up like a road construction crew. I have to find this picture. He was a traffic cone, and we were construction workers, and we stopped the entire parade multiple times to act out little skits. We were heroes. This was before the internet. This is where people had flash bulb cameras, and they would circle around us like we were fucking celebrities. We made it into the paper. I wish I had the fucking paper clipping. We were on the news, too. But this is before the internet, and I don't know, maybe those clips exist, but this is 1929, 39, 27 years ago. It sucks. But cities rise and fall. The power structures causing the rising and falling, expediting these things, they never go away. It is the time of the Mongols right now. You might not get stabbed on the street unless you live in England. There's going to be a civil war there soon, too. We've reached a point where instead of puppeting areas, the bad guys can now puppet the entire planet. And it actually doesn't change anything for you and I. The message of this show is still the same. Leave the cities. Leave the cities. Stop thinking that novelty is important. I heard Andrew Santino on Theo Von today say, "Oh, I'm just such a social animal. I gotta be around people." No, you fucking don't. You're being a pussy and a coward. Grow up. And if your wife can't have a baby, go adopt one. Start a family and be a man. And stop giving Theo bad advice. Now, these are fighting words, but I don't know those guys, so they shouldn't give a shit what I think. And I'm not angry at either one of them. They both seem like the sweetest, nicest people who are really trying hard. It's just that when you're inside the machine, you can't tell how sick you are. The only way you can tell how sick you are is if you go sit down in the woods and take mushrooms. Not a huge dose. Not enough to scare you. Just enough to give you some novelty so you can be patient and sit there for 4 hours. And look at a stream. Talk to the rocks. Speak to the trees and the fish. I'm not even talking about tripping balls. Because I can go out there completely sober and I still do all that shit. What do you think happens when the camera goes off? I say thank you to this wood. Austin is like San Francisco. It's a lost fucking cause. And it has been for a long time. When I was in college here for DUI control, they started forced blood draws. Meaning, at a checkpoint, they wanted 100% proof, and this was before chemical testing had advanced. They wanted 100% proof that you were intoxicated here, and so they could hold you down and take your blood. This isn't new. This is the progression of society. What do we do, Maverick? Leave. And go live in the woods for a while. Don't look at the dip in my teeth. I'm having fun. I hope you're having fun. I'm not a racist. not an anti-Semite. I don't hate anyone, actually. I hate ideas that pollute people's minds like beautiful rivers. Religion, nationalism, propaganda. Start living for love, folks. It's already in your heart. Maverick Matthews, pepper for your steak. I feel like the proper thing to do would be like slither off this dock into the water like a fucking dolphin. Or dolphins don't come out of the water. What are those things called? Sea lion.
Why, Elon? Why do we need to build a city on Mars with 1 million people on it in your lifetime? Which I think is kind of what you've said you'd love to do. There have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live. Like, why do you want to live? What's the point? What inspires you? What do you love about the future? And if we're not out there, if the future does not include being out there among the stars and being a multi-planet species, I find that it's incredibly depressing if that's not the future that we're going to have.
The Starship program is vastly more capable than the entire Apollo moon program. Vastly more capable. This is a spaceship that is designed to make life multiplanetary, to carry millions of people across the heavens to another planet.
There have to be reasons that you get up in the morning and you want to live.
The Apollo program could only send astronauts to the moon for a few hours at a time. They could send the entire Apollo program could only send astronauts to visit the moon very briefly, and then for a few hours and then depart.
No, they couldn't.
The Starship program could create an entire lunar base with 1 million people. The magnitudes are different, very different magnitudes here.
So